Rome now, where large crowds are gathering to visit Pope Francis's tomb. And it's now open, of course, to the public after yesterday's private burial. His funeral does mark the beginning of the 9 days of mourning. Mnisi is at St. Mary's Major then in Rome, the Basilica, and joins us live now then. Linda, crowds ultimately gathering. One can imagine that there's a whole host of people wanting to experience this historic moment.
Absolutely. And because that ceremony was private, like you indicated earlier on, a couple of people could only watch it from the screens. And, that screens that have been in and around this area, but at the St. Peter's Basilica as well, or rather the St. Peter's Square. But here, it's very busy, as you can see, but obviously issues of security have also been taken into consideration. There are a number of police officers that are stationed outside this particular basilica, but also, just making sure, like I indicated earlier on, that, there is a sort of coordinated way in which, the people that want to enter can do so. It is, the beginning of the mourning period, like you indicated, 9 days that precedes the conclave that will take place, and that is the process of choosing the next pope. So it's going to be quite an interesting couple of days looking at the build-up to of course, the conclave. Have you been inside?
No, understand.
Oh, okay. You don't understand English. Hello, hey, where are you from?
I'm from Italy.
Okay. You've just gone inside the basilica.
No, aspetta, mamma vieni qua. My mom is traduci. You can repeat the question, please.
Okay. We just wanted to find out if you've been inside.
No, this is the first time. It's the first time I'm and the grand emotion for in this moment. Yes. But I'm from Italy. Yeah. I live al sud of Italy.
Yeah. What does the Pope mean to you, Pope Francis?
For the peace of the world and for my baby, for my boy.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I see you've got a Manchester jersey. Cool, thank you very much. So, of course, these are people that will be going inside Arabile to, of course, view the tomb of the Pope. That young boy there talking to us, he's going to be going inside the Basilica. The mom there seemingly being put in a corner to speak to us, but of course not being able really to fully articulate themselves in English. They speak Italian, as you would know, but basically saying it's an emotional moment. You speak to quite a number of people, and because, of course, of the language barrier, there's only little that they can say to us. But largely, a lot of them are telling us about how emotional this moment is for them. It is sad. This is a pope that has been sitting, or has been the pope for the past couple of years. He was, in fact, elected pope in 2013. So they're used to seeing the Pope. They're used to going to the St. Peter's Square to see, for the Mass as well, and other ceremonies that take place there. So a lot of them did not expect that the Pope would pass away. In fact, what we were getting yesterday, Arabile, is that the expectation was that he's getting better, right? Because he was discharged from hospital and had already started making a couple of public appearances. So when they saw him for the very last time at the balcony at St. Peter's Square, it did not occur to them that perhaps this would be the very last time that they're seeing the Pope. But obviously the news rocked Rome, and they're currently in mourning, and this will continue for the next 9 days. There'll be a couple of special Mass ceremonies that will be taking place over this period, leading, of course, to the Cardinal, or the Dean of Cardinals, really summoning the Cardinals for the beginning of the conclave. That's expected to be quite interesting because it is the beginning of the process of the election of a new pope. They'll be in isolation and the voting will start. A cardinal that gets about 2/3 of the majority gets to be the next pope. But the voting process takes place over a couple of times. And of course, if that 2/3 majority is not reached, what they do with those votes is that they burn them with a particular chemical that releases a certain color of a smoke. Now, you would know that if there isn't a decision on the pope, the smoke would be black. But if there is a decision on who becomes the next pope, the smoke will be white. So those are interesting times that lie ahead, and that certainly a lot of people are looking forward to. There's obviously conversations about what happens now going forward. The progress that has been made in transforming, the church itself. Would they be undone, or will the next pope continue with the work that has already been done? There's also a great debate about, the next pope being, whether or not the next pope will be as liberal as Pope Francis. But let me just walk around to try and see if I can get a couple of people. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Where are you from?
I'm born in Jamaica, but I live in Miami.
Okay, cool. You're at the St. Mary's Major Basilica. Talk to us about why you're here. This is a big day, obviously, for Catholics.
Yes, I came on Thursday morning, and I didn't really have a plan, but I was lucky enough to be able to see him lying in state at the Vatican. And then yesterday I was able to see the end of his procession here, and the rosary prayer that they did outside. And then in the evening, and then I came back this morning. I pretty much came to Rome to see Pope Francis. That was my whole trip.
And what's that experience been like for you?
I knew it would be special, but I didn't realize how special. And it's very moving. I've always loved Pope Francis. I never got to see him in St. Peter's Square while he was alive, but I had to see him. On his way out. So.
Talk to us about what he means, for you. For a lot of people, they talk about his humility, what he stood for, placing the church at the center of the periphery, really.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty much it. All popes pretty much, serve, the people. But Pope Francis, he kind of had like a different heart. The way he spoke to people, the way he delivered his message. A lot of people consider the church to be so strict and so harsh, and it really shouldn't be. It's not. And he kind of reminded everybody of that. And so one of my biggest prayers right now, no one knows the future, but I hope and I pray that the next pope that we have will just have just as much of the heart and the gentleness and the manner and the character of Pope Francis.
Thank you very much. I didn't get your name.
I'm Danielle.
Danielle, thank you very much.
What's your name?
Linda. My name is Linda. I'm from South Africa.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Sure. Okay, so Danielle Day from Miami in the US came all the way to see Pope Francis and was hoping that she would be able to see him lie in state, but that did not happen. But quite a special moment for her, because she indicates that she in fact did witness the procession, the final stages of the procession, and obviously the prayer of the rosary, which happened outside before going inside for that private ceremony that was held. And that was when Pope Francis was being entombed. So this is a special moment, as you can see, from the manner in which people express themselves, Arabile. It's a special moment for them, but also quite sad, because it signifies or signals the end of a particular journey. You know, Danielle captures it perfectly, aptly, when she says, you know, Pope Francis had a particular way in which he did things. And this is the message that comes across as I speak to different people from different countries even. I remember just yesterday speaking to a lady from Nigeria who told me that Pope Francis's papacy was basically a journey to the periphery, a journey to the outer margins of society, almost taking people back to who they are and what humanity is about. And that is why you see a lot of people being touched in this way. Obviously, people get touched when a pope passes away, but there is that level of, you know, connection that people display when they speak about Pope Francis and how he almost touched them, you know, individually in their own individual lives. So these are special reflections from different people from all different walks of life.
Linda, thank you so much for that. Indeed, we're giving you also the sights and sounds at the same time then of the funeral mass, or the post-mass then of the funeral, which will happen, of course, across 9 days, held daily at St. Peter's through Sunday, the 4th of May.
Abbiamo visto il Signore, ma egli disse loro: se non vedo nelle sue mani il segno dei chiodi e non metto il mio dito nel segno dei chiodi e non metto la mia mano nel suo fianco, io non credo. 8 giorni dopo, i discepoli erano di nuovo in casa e c'era con loro anche Tommaso. Venne Gesù a porte chiuse, stette in mezzo e disse: pace a voi. Poi disse a Tommaso: metti qui il tuo dito e guarda le mie mani, tendi la tua mano e mettila nel mio fianco, e non essere incredulo ma credente. Gli rispose Tommaso: mio Signore e mio Dio. Gesù gli disse: perché mi hai veduto, tu hai creduto. Beati quelli che non hanno visto e hanno creduto. Gesù, in presenza dei suoi discepoli, fece molti altri segni che non sono stati scritti in questo libro, ma questi sono stati scritti perché crediate che Gesù è il Cristo, il Figlio di Dio, e perché credendo abbiate la vita nel suo nome. Verbum Domini.